Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share my Christmas in July set of cards, the first day of Christmas in July. The set of cards that I'm making now is using that tinsel paper pack from American Crafts, I believe it was. Anyway, you can see here, I'm just going through the motions of cutting down the cut apart sheets and um, creating some cards. I have a whole gamut of things wrapped around my work surface there, and you can see I have set up everything from all the different packs, or not all the different packs, all the different stray bits and pieces that I've pulled in for just my generic composition papers and sequins and die cuts and all kinds of things. I've pulled all of that around me to make sure that I have it available while I'm creating cards. Because this is the first time I'm using this paper pack, I'm taking a little bit more time and doing all the fussy cutting pieces, like cutting this part of the little cut aparts apart and cutting down bits and pieces of that what do you call it, an introduction sheet of what all the papers are going to be. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with that. And you can see, boom, yep, I have laid out my first couple of cards. And you'll see as I go through and I make these cards for you guys, or show you my process in making cards, I do this a lot. I cut out all my pieces and I stack them up, and I follow the same format for sometimes multiple cards. Sometimes it may be one or two cards that are the same. Sometimes it'll be up to 10 cards that are the same. I don't think with any of the kits that I used or any of the cards that I made more than like 6. I think, well, no, the one time I think I made 10 that were close to the same format. But I think most of them were about 2 at a time. But here I cut out all the paper pieces. I cut them all down. I grabbed up the embellishments that I thought I might use, like the ribbon, cut it down, have the tags that I fussy cut out. Everything's ready to go as far as putting this card together. So I inked all my edges, and I'm just going through and gluing everything now. These aren't super duper fancy cards, but I think they all turned out okay. I follow Christy Marcotte, and I use a lot of the same sketches that she uses to create, her batch cards that she does. She'll take a whole 6x6 paper pad and create hundreds of cards. It feels like hundreds of cards sometimes. She'll make 20 or 30 cards or more with that. Whatever paper pad she's working on. And so she uses a lot of fairly generic sketches that are easy to follow. And so I've done that, and I've learned to back my pattern paper with just cheap cardstock so that they come out with a more finished look, if you will. And so there I'm cutting down another piece of ribbon to add to that. Not sure what I was cutting off there, but anywho, so I'm measuring that out, and that's going to go along there too. Now, as far as the card bases, these are what I consider card fronts. I'll have everything made up, put the card front together, and then put it onto a card base. I buy a lot of pre-made card bases, but here for the next little while I'm making these cards for July, what I have done is I've pulled out some craft cardstock along the way. I used up what I had already had as far as pre-made bases. And so I've tried to use all of those up first, and then I have cut down tons and tons of craft cardstock in order to make my own card bases. Just trying to use up some more stash, guys. I have a lot of it. So anyway, I'm showing you the whole gluing down process for one of them. The second one, I won't go through the whole gluing process. You can see there's nothing rocket science about this, but it's just the process that I go through to put these cards together. Nothing fancy. So once I get all of that done and get that mounted, I have a few little embellishment pieces to go on top. And then I have the stamping that I do on the inside of my card. And there I'm using some foam tape to kind of puff that up a little bit. And I put it on either side of the ribbon border on there. And you can see that was a to and a from tag, but I change it up. And there I'm adding a corrugated Christmas tree and a felt reindeer, and we're going to call that good. And I'll show you what they both look like, what both the cards look like here in just a minute. I just want to thank you for sticking around, and I hope you come back tomorrow for another Christmas in July day where I'm making cards. Anyway, thanks for sticking around, guys, and I hope I've inspired you to get into your stash and use some of it up. Have a great day, everyone. See you on the next video.